everyone, I'm Lile. Welcome to Lile's Indie Corner. Today I'm gonna tell you about some of the games that I have been playing recently, and of course I will save the best for last. Please feel free to let me know about all the indie games that you have been enjoying. Cocoon is a weird puzzle game by the lead gameplay designer of Limbo and Insight. While the aesthetics are very different, the obscurity in storytelling and the simple but so effective puzzle design do clue you into its origins. You use the left thumbstick to move your little Mothman and only one action button to do everything else. And it works so incredibly well. The puzzles are simple at first, but real head-scratchers in the later levels. It honestly broke my brain in one part. And the coolest thing is definitely the world hopping. You have these marbles you use to progress in the overworld, but you can also go into these, and they contain a whole world of their own. If you are into puzzle games, you have to play Cocoon. Another puzzle game, Return of the Obra Dinn, is a real indie game classic that I finally picked up and played for myself. The ship Obra Dinn, which had mysteriously vanished years ago, suddenly reappears, but with no sign of living crew members. Now it's up to you to investigate what happened to the 60 people on board during their voyage. You have a very handy watch to help you. If you get near a corpse, this watch will show you the moment of the person's death. So you need to deduce how they died, who they were, and also who was with them at the time of their death. Again, rather simple design, but so good. I had a blast with this game and really loved how they managed to construct this in a way where everything made sense in the end. For something very different and far more bloody than a ship full of 60 dead people, Showgunners is a tactical turn-based shooter where you are the participant of a deadly reality TV show named Homicidal All-Stars. I guess you know what you're in for if you volunteer for that one, huh? Our protagonist Scarlet wants to exact revenge on the final boss of this TV show, for good reason I might add, and nothing will stop her. Of course, she is joined by a colorful group of companions, and while their stories are rather simple, I still loved having some backstory to all of them. The real highlight is the gameplay though, and I have to say, while XCOM 2 still has the better progression system, Showgunners has dethroned it as my favorite tactical turn-based shooter. It's just so much fun! If you're still looking for a good horror game despite scary season slowly dwindling down, Slay the Princess is a must-play. It's a very hard game to describe because I feel like everything I could say would spoil part of the fun. This is one of those things where it's better to know as little as possible and just get swept up in the story and the mechanics. What I can say is that it's a visual novel with voice acting, but that is underselling both those aspects. It takes the medium of visual novel and does its completely own thing with it. And instead of saying more, I'm just gonna leave you to the opening lines.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
This Bet We Made is a mystery game set in the 50s in a hotel in Montreal. You're Sophie, a hotel maid who is a very nosy and curious sort of person. She uses her time cleaning hotel rooms to also snoop through the guests' possessions. She never steals, but she will open suitcases and even safes if she can find the combination to really get the dirt on everyone. This game surprised me with how solid the mechanics were. There's a bit of indie game jank here and there, but overall I had a really good time. The puzzles were fun, the clues were somewhat logical, and the conclusion a real nail-biter. It also surprised me with how gay it was. It really revolves around queer relationships in the time period, and you know me, I love that! One of my most anticipated games this year definitely did not disappoint. Thirsty Suitors was everything I wanted it to be. A crazy journey through a 20-something South Asian woman's life with an incredible over-the-top art style and visuals, really fun turn-based combat, and insane skating on top of it all. It is also one of the queerest games this year, and I can always do with more of those. Jala returns to her hometown after 3 years of barely communicating with her family or her many exes. And now she has to make it up to all of them. Her exes she must defeat in combat before they can be friends again. With her parents she needs to cook delicious food to work through their issues. Then there's also someone in a mascot costume who's taken in all the lost teenagers of the region. This game is a ride, and I just love it. Thank you to my wonderful editor, the Potato Witch. And now for my favorite game I played in recent weeks, The Fabulous Fear Machine. This wasn't really on my radar until its release, but when I watched the trailer, I knew I wanted to get my grubby hands on it. This is a strategy game with a bit of micromanaging where you need to instill fear in the hearts of people in order to achieve your goals. It is also narrative driven, which is right up my alley. Fair warning though, this game is bloody, and you are always playing for the evil side, so beware of that. Of course, I have to mention the fantastic pulp art style that never loses its charm throughout the playthrough. The story is told through comic-like panels, and it fits perfectly. It's also something you don't see every day in video games. But even outside the story and on the maps themselves, it looks absolutely gorgeous. So, how does the game work? You currently have 3 campaigns available to you, and all of them start with the protagonist striking a deal with the fear machine. All for nefarious purposes, of course. And in order to get their wish, they need to spread fear. You start by planting a fear seed on the map and then placing your little minions in different cities in order to get resources. To spread fear, you need to lay down fear legends, like the Loch Ness monster, for example, and then develop them so every person in a region is terrified of the legend you helped propagate. The mechanics are very straightforward, but they never get stale because the game keeps introducing twists on what you already learned. So you need to adjust your playstyle for every campaign, and that's just so fun. Then there are also events on the maps themselves and rivals who want to throw a wrench in your plans. It never got too hectic in my opinion, you can pause at any moment and strategize accordingly. I didn't find it too difficult either. Really, my only complaint is that I want more of the game and more of these stories, because they are really good too. If you are even remotely interested in strategy games, I implore you to give The Fabulous Fear Machine a chance. It's really good. And here are more horror games for you to enjoy.